Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation about what made your container fat, aka visualizing the sizes of your container layers. My name is Dan Schermark. I'm a software developer working at SUSE. Besides that, I'm also a package maintainer in openSUSE. I'm also active in the Fedora community if you've been around there, so I'm a member of the i3 SIG, and I'm also a package maintainer there. Besides development tools, which this falls into, my hobbies and interests also involve testing and documentation and home automation with Home Assistant. If you'd like to stalk me further on social media, then you can find a few links below. But now let's get right into the actual topic at hand. So first, let me give you a short introduction. What problem am I actually trying to solve here? So I work at SUSE and we've recently started building a lot of container images. And the issue we run into, we continuously rebuild these, and then occasionally they increase in size. And you want to find out, yeah, well, it's big, but where exactly did this happen? So you would like to see an overview. Then you try to take a look at that, and that actually becomes rather tricky because you have to extract everything, or you can install some tools into the container, but thereby you change the container, so it gets a little bit ugly. So then if you build multi-layer containers, if you build stuff on top of each other, then you quickly run into the problem that one of the specific layers is huge, but you don't exactly know which one, and you don't know where this one is big. So you want to find out that. And then it gets really interesting, because then the approach of just installing NCDU into your container, that doesn't work anymore. That's just impossible. So for another thing is, for example, so Dive. It's a pretty handy tool. It's great at minimizing containers, but it doesn't create very visually pleasing graphs. So what I'd actually like is something like Baobab, the GNOME disk usage analyzer, to create me a nice sunburst graph. Well, and also what can become really complicated is if you have two container images and you want to know the difference between them. So you have an old image that's smaller, and then you have a new image that got bigger somehow, and you want to see exactly where this change occurred. So essentially, what's the difference between two layers? And these can be in the same image, although that's not terribly useful. But for instance, if you have images of previous state. And so I've written a tool to solve that. It's a simple web app, and it shows you sunburst graphs. So it shows you essentially the file system of a container layer. And so that I don't, let me just show you here a quick demo that I already pre-recorded. So this shows the tool. You would enter your image, then it will show you which platforms you have. You select one which you like, and then you tell it to pull it. So this image was already prefetched. That's why you see in this table that the downloading went really fast, because my internet is rather slow or not fast enough. Now it's currently crunching the numbers, it's analyzing it, and now it's done. Now you can see you have all the layers with the history that created it, and now you can plot every single layer. You can click on these folders in the sunburst graph, it will zoom in onto them, and if you click in the center, it will go out to the upper folder. You can select another one, and then it will zoom onto that. You can select other layers, and as you can see, this is all relatively fast, thanks to a very handy JavaScript library that does the rendering. And with that, we are already through. So this itself is, in my opinion, pretty handy already, but a very recently added feature is the option to compare layers. So imagine you have created a new image, and it's suddenly bigger. And what the tool now can do is you can give it two layers, and it will compare them. So here in this image, it will show you it will essentially show you those two layers side by side. Red means this folder is bigger, green means this folder is smaller, yellow means these are the same size, and if you see something in blue, then it just means it's just in this one image. And I also have a video visualization as well, because if you click on one of the folders, then it will, and it's present in both images, it will zoom in to this folder in both images. And that's already it. So just to summarize the features, so you can analyze images from arbitrary registries, or you can also use local archives, you can use locally built images, so you don't have to push them somewhere. You can use foreign architecture images, so you can analyze ARX64 images on your x86 box. You can store the images for later comparison or for historical purposes in a database. It runs rootless by default if that's important for use for security purposes. And you can also run it just as a containerized web app. The commands are listed in the slides. And for that, I'd like to encourage you to give this tool a try and give me feedback on GitHub. Thanks for your attention.